Hi, it's Money Guy, Adam Phillips, and I have with me Mr. Matt Lewis from Sierra Consulting today, and telling us all about what it is that he does and how he can help you and your business. So, Matt, thank you very much for joining me this morning
Yeah, thanks for
on
having
this
me on.
blinking miserable morning. Please let us know who you are, what you do.
My name is Matthew Lewis. I'm the MD for Sierra Consulting based here in Andover. We provide an outsourced sales and marketing department to, anybody who needs it, but predominantly with SMEs locally. And we do everything from sort of SaaS, fintech, finance, ERP. We do product launches for people, and we basically fully design and build your sales strategy for you, and then take it to market as effectively an extension of your business and your sales department.
Perfect. So if I was to say I needed more sales, you would come out not with a strategy, but then execute it on my behalf as well.
Absolutely, yeah. So we generally do it's consultative selling. So we don't just go through the motions. So we would meet with you, as we have to on Zoom at the moment. Hopefully it'll be in person in the near future. And we'd obviously discuss your aims, your targets, your requirements, and what it is you're looking to do. So say, for example, you're a financial advisor, and you want to go out and you want to speak to or grow your business by getting 10 new clients in the next 3 months, that are high net worth individuals. So maybe senior sort of law people, barristers, solicitors, that kind of thing. We would obviously discuss that with you. So you're saying, right, you want 10 appointments in the next 3 months. Okay, great. We will then build a sales plan for you of how that can be achieved. So where the good thing about this is that we will fully, once we've understood what it is you're trying to achieve, we'll be able to tell you how much time roughly per week would need to be allocated to that to achieve what you're looking for. So if you're looking for 10 appointments, we could probably get that for you by basically you employing us for 1 day a week, which obviously is going to save you a lot of money against employing a business developer or a salesperson to work for you directly. So we would dedicate 1 day a week where we focus purely on your particular case and your particular sales drive. We would go out and we would build that strategy for you. We organically grow all our data, so we would organically go out and collect the data for the right people. So when I say going through the motions, I think a lot of sales companies, and particularly in the bigger call centers, they buy their data in, so they'll buy it in the thousands of records, and 600 or 700 out of 1,000 could be completely irrelevant. So they're wasting a lot of their day phoning people that are absolutely not going to be interested because they're not in the right field or they're not the right type of client. So we would organically grow the data. We go out and research as many records as we thought. So say, for example, 100 records of data per week of your target client, and this in turn gives the best results because we're going to be speaking to the right people from the get-go. We're not going to be speaking to his PA or speaking to his manager or wasting any time. We're going to go out, speak to the correct people, and ultimately set up the most valuable meetings for you. So you're not going to end up going on a Zoom call and the guy has absolutely no idea really what the meeting's about, and you only end up finding out he's not your target client.
Yeah, a lot of wasted time and money just in that lane. With the data, it's quite interesting to pick up on the data there. There are so many people, business owners in particular, that have their clients, they have their customers, they haven't got their data. So there's a problem there, because obviously then businesses can't communicate not only efficiently to their customers about perhaps new marketing things that they're doing. It could be I've opened a new branch right near your doorstep. It could be similar as that. All those reasons, I've got a brand new product I want to launch. But if you can't talk to your customers efficiently, it makes business so much harder. And you're right in terms of the how many people have got that annoying phone call from someone, and it's completely irrelevant to what you have to what is for you personally. And that's because information keeps getting sold. So when you collect all the data for these businesses,
Yeah.
Out of interest, who owns the data? Is that you, or are you able to pass that to the business owner for their own purposes or whatever?
Yeah, so we've organically grown it, the data from, sorry, dog bark in the background. We've organically grown the data from Freedom of Information, so LinkedIn, Sales Navigator, their own websites, and we're collecting that data, and we obviously compile that and we make the call. Now, we still don't, we own the data to the point that we can use it. We don't own the point to the data that could be resold. Which is not what we're about. We're not a lead generation company with regards to providing data for other sales campaigns to go and call, so that's not a problem for us. But to the answer to the question is yes, we can share it with you, and it would be shared. So say for example, Joe Blogs, he's a barrister in London and he wants to go ahead for a meeting for you to look at his finances for him. We would be able to obviously pass you we would have his permission, obviously be able to pass you that data over, email address, mobile number, whatever we've got, and you could obviously retain that for future reference, but you would fall under the same rules as us in the fact that you couldn't share that then with a third party. It would need to stay in-house. But that, you know, that is just, it's the best way for us. I mean, we could go out and buy data, but like I say, we would just be going through the motions of trying to call 1,000 people a week to try and get one appointment instead of calling 10 people in a week and getting 5 appointments out of those because they're the right kind of people.
Having, if you've got someone else doing that, collecting the data like what you do yourself, that can be so invaluable, because sometimes people's perception of who their ideal client is actually miles away from who their actual perfect client actually is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I've had people before, they go, oh, my ideal customer is anyone between the ages of 18 and 65 who live in Andover. And you're like, no, that's wrong. You're statistically speaking, your ideal customer is female who's 35, who is logged on, I don't know, on Facebook at 9 o'clock in the afternoon, like in the evening. That's your ideal person, because they're the people watching your stuff. And we can tell you that because we've got data points which show, you know, that's when they're paying attention to what you're saying. But a lot of business owners don't tend they don't analyze the information presented in front of them. So if you were to come to them and say, do you know, we've got 10 barristers here, all from London for argument's sake, and then me saying, right, next tomorrow, target the bakers. And you're going, no, but there's a pattern here. Barristers are obviously interested in what you have to say and what you have to do. So why are we going after the wrong people? You know, so your business could create incredible value for business owners, because you would be generating key data points, and it's on the business owner to figure it out. But it really could be you could be a huge asset to most businesses. And you mentioned a minute ago about costs as well. Like these days, when you're in a world of, you know, to employ someone you can't just, like, it's not like the olden days where you just go, hey, do you want a job? And yeah, come on, you in. And then if they did something wrong, go, right, I say you're fired. That's not how it works. You can't do that anymore. You have to have pension schemes set up. You can't just fire someone.
Yeah.
There has to be there's a process involved before doing any of that. And if you did fire someone straight away, you've got to have a code of conduct to demonstrate why you can fire them like that. You know, it's an absolute minefield, and it costs so much money, including pension. So when you employ someone at £15,000 a year, for argument's sake, you're not paying. That's just not your overheads. You've also got to pay contribution towards their pension plan if they choose to opt into one, because you should have one as a business owner ready for your employer.
Exactly. And I mean, to give you an idea as well with that, we're collaborating with a company. I won't mention any names, but we'll be collaborating with them from the beginning of April. Now, I know the director there from old, and he obviously knows that I've set this up, and he came to me because he's got a product he's looking to launch over about a 3-month period, is what he's thinking it will take to get it out to the places it needs to go. And we had a chat the other day, and he was sort of saying, look, you know, it's going to cost me £25,000 to £30,000 basic to take someone on. He said, but what I'm worried about is that they'll probably have 2 days a week where they'll be flat out, and then the other 3 days they're going to just be replying to emails. I don't, you know, we can run that campaign for him very economically, in the fact that we can do the 2 days get on with another project, but reply to the emails. And he's only paying for 2 days. So, you know, and he's also not got to worry about, I mean, everybody knows recruitment is testing. I've done it. It's, you know, you sift through a lot of CVs, you sit a lot of interviews, you think you've got the right person, they turn up, they don't like the role, or they get a better offer. And I've had it happen where they phone up the day before they're due to start and say, oh, somebody's offered me a couple of grand more and I'm going to go there. So we know the pains of that. And then you bring someone in and you've got to train them. They're not just necessarily going to know the product. They might not have as much sales experience as you'd have liked, just, you know, because that was the best person out of the CVs that you got. You know, and they come in and yeah, maybe they might do well, but then, you know, if you don't think that sales campaign is actually going to require a full week of flat out attention, you know, you're sort of sitting there thinking, this guy's costing me in excess of £2,000 a month for his basic, and I've got to pay him a commission on all the sales that land, and I've got to pay for his pension pot, and I've got to pay his national insurance contributions. He's in a contract, so if I want to, you know, if this doesn't, you know, if we get to the end of 3 months and I feel that, you know, we've generated enough business to last us the rest of the year, I've got to find this guy something to do. I've got no justification to let him go.
Yeah.
So then what do? Do we carry on paying him to generate business we don't necessarily need now? Or you know, have him making tea for the next 9 months till we run the next? It is a conundrum for people, and I think a lot of businesses they dive in and think, right, let's get a business development guy, and it just might not be needed, and they don't necessarily always consider outsourcing and thinking, right, you know, we can pick up an outsourced company who can learn our product, build our data for us, completely hold our sales campaign. We can pick up because we're completely non-contract, so you can pick it up and say, right, we want to run it for a month, we run it for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, you know, and there's no contract. All we ask for is 30 days notice that you're going to end it. You know, if you want to end early and you say it's going to run for 6 months, you get through 4 months and you're doing really well, and you sort of need to take a breather to cope with the amount of work. If you can just give us 30 days notice and say, look, we put it on ice, we'll run this campaign probably again this time next year, that's absolutely fine. But it gives you so much, as you know, as a business that's looking to outsource, so much more flexibility, and you save so much more money than you would do even bringing in-house part-time salesperson.
I think you raise a valid point there, which I think people, including myself really, until you said it, is sometimes people don't want to grow, and it's twofold. It's either some people just don't want like you're right. What happens if let's say you employ a salesman who is absolutely on it? They're the best salesman you've ever met, and they sign up 100 policies or whatever the thing is, sell 100 products in a month, and you've made more money than you've ever thought you could realistically make, and you cannot you just go, you know, I can't cope. I can't actually cope with the demand of this.
Yeah.
So then you've got a problem. You go, right, do I then employ more people? But then if your initial plan was not to have a massive company, because not everyone does want to be multi-millionaires, you know what I mean? Some people do, some people don't. It's just the way people are. You know, that's a real problem. What do? Do you fire the salesman, or do you turn him then to a customer relationship manager because he just manages the things that he sold? But then, you know, it's not really making you any more money. You know what I mean? It's a difficult place to be. And then the flip side of that is 3 months down the line, they're absolutely terrible. You've wasted £2.5 grand a month on wages. You've spent more hours training them, which means you're not actually doing the job you would normally do. So you've actually you've become less productive in that 2-3 month period as well. And then you go, God, this person's terrible. I mean, once you've got to a point where you're making enough money where you can afford to do that, you know, like large commercial properties, you know, insurance intermediaries, we know one in town, there's like, you know, hundreds of staff, you know, for insurance intermediary, and there's a high turnover of staff. Yeah. But they can afford, because they employ a guy to train people all day long, and that's their kind of job role. You know what I mean? But when you're just starting out, you haven't got that money to burn. We haven't got that money to have a particular trainee person in. What happens if things go really wrong, and what happens if things go really right? If things are really great for you, can you sustain the growth that you're propelling at, the way that, you know, the way you're working? So that's a good point. I think it's interesting. I think it'd be great to see how how many people react to this and
Mm.
talk to you. I would urge anyone who's watching this, who is thinking about expanding their business with little risk to your money, and not really a huge investment. Like you say, the time wise, I haven't got to interview someone. I haven't got to sift through CVs. I haven't got to train anyone. I mean, I'll have to talk to you personally about this is what we do for our branding, but
Yeah.
that's an hour conversation, really, isn't it? We look at maybe a couple of hours conversation at most. It's not about you haven't got to sit down and train. This is the system that we use, and this is how we want the leads, and this is how I want you to talk to people, and you haven't got to do any of that. So it's a huge investment. Not only it's a no investment on your time and your money.
Yeah.
If we were to start using yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking to people now, Adam, who aren't starting a sales campaign till September. But I've had the chat with the guy already. Just as a touch base opportunity, really, to start with. So, we've hooked up on LinkedIn, we've had a Zoom meeting. He's told me what it is he does, what it is he's looking to achieve.
Yeah.
And I just explained what we do and how we could work for his business, and we've sort of got to know each other. And he's not looking to do it till September, but he's looking now because he's sort of, I think, conscious of he wants to get it right from a financial point of view for him. He knows, obviously, like we said just now, that the costs of taking on someone full time. He's been weighing up whether or not he needs to do that, or whether or not an outsourced opportunity would be better for him. He's come to the conclusion that outsourcing is probably the way to go for his business. He's not, like I say, he's not looking to do it till September. We've had the chat. It's completely, we'll make time for you. It's completely free to do that if you just want to explore the opportunity. And we'll be touching base. I think we're gonna hook up in like June and just see if that's still looking to go ahead. And it's completely flexible. There's no pressure. If you just want to have a chat because you haven't ever thought about doing this before, then please do give us a shout. We're more than happy to do that and explain what we can do for you and how it can work.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, it'd be interesting if we could have a catch up maybe when that campaign for September finishes. Not to say names or specific results, but just to say basically this chap's gone from 10 a week to 100 a week, or whatever the situation will be, just to show and highlight how efficient you guys are. Also, I've known you for a little while as well, so and I know that you personally are a hard worker, and put the graft in, and is continuously professional. So I would urge anyone who's watching this right now that if you want to grow your business sales wise, product wise, without the risk, as I just said it a minute ago, I want to say it again, the without risk of investment, of financial investment and time investment, because training people drains so much out of you. And also you've not just got to employ someone to do the job. I have to then buy a system, right? I have to buy or if I don't buy a system, I have to design a system. I have to do something. I have to come up with some efficient way of you, my prospective salesman, to communicate with me, to let me know what you're doing. Do you see what I mean? So there's ripples of it all, So I think it's a fantastic initiative. I don't think there's many people that I can think of in Andover that does this kind of thing.
I mean, just an example with where you said about like seeing results. I mean, we have been working, or we are already working with a business who's got an ERP platform that they've designed and developed themselves, and it's out there to rival Sage and NetSuite. But it's been designed with small business in mind, because as we all know, Sage and NetSuite can be very, very expensive. We've been giving them 10 appointments. They're basically coming for 10 appointments a month with decision makers of small businesses for that kind of for who would be looking at an ERP system, and they're converting about 40 to 50% of their appointments into business. Obviously, not everybody. You can have somebody interested, but not everybody is going to buy. It's 10 people can walk into a shop and there's a new product there, and they might all like it, but not necessarily will all 10 people pick it up. But we know that anyway, and we know that's how business works. So he's getting a good return because he's aiming, I think, to grow by by sort of 50 clients this year. So if he continues to pick it up, which I'm sure he will at that rate, but come December, he's going to have achieved his target for the year, and his business will be absolutely flying. So,
oh yeah, I mean, the best part is he's not to do it himself. Like the sales part is such a skill, and it is so hard. It is hard. It's hard. Like, we're talking to a business I'm working with at the moment, and they've got some franchisees, and we're talking about how you should try and either walk. I know it's a bit difficult currently, but forget the current climate. Walk in and talk to people. Oh, I don't like doing that. You go, okay, well, we're not doing that. Make that call. Oh, I don't want to do it. It's cold call. I don't really want a cold call. Like, build some relationships and then make it a warm call. Yeah, but it means I'm going to have to show my face on camera and but no, like, selling is really, really hard, and to be good at it and to be professional at the same time is a real trick that I don't think many. So if you're a really good plumber, for argument's sake, you're probably really good at plumbing, but you might not be good at all the other bits of the job that comes with the territory. No difference to if I open a shoe shop. I could be the best shoe shop assistant ever, but if I can't, I have to still work out how to do the accounting, how to run a website, how to, do the sales part of it. How am I going to get people in my shop to buy my things? And if you don't know the answer, and people can't do everything, as we know. I mean, I said to you, we chatted a couple of weeks ago, and I said I'll be looking to use your services very soon as well, because I've got a couple of exciting campaigns coming up as well, to help save lots of people lots of money. So looking forward to working with you on that one, Matt. And and anyone who's looking forward to speak to Matt, as he's just mentioned, it's going to be completely free of charge. You can have a chat with Matt whenever you want and talk about how you could expand your business. This is not obligatory. This is not, like Matt said already, this is not, rather ironically, it's not a hard sale, but it's a conversation that if you want to look to expand your business and you're not sure how to do it, or you want to know how much Matt might cost, then please have a chat with Matt. Matt, do you know what's the website or the best way of contacting you?
So if you can contact me on matthew.lewis@sierraconsulting.co.uk. There's also an info address, which is the info@sierraconsulting.co.uk. And also, after this, I can give you my mobile number. I don't know if you can maybe pop that up on your screen or whatever.
I'll pop that in the links, either description above or below. That's absolutely fine, mate. No worries at all. So if you're looking to grow a business, talk to this guy, and he will definitely help. And it's going to save you not only loads of money, which is what I'm here for, but it will make you money simultaneously, because he's going to get the leads and the sales that the business needs in order to grow. So thank you very much for your time, Matt. I appreciate it. And I look forward to working with you very soon.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.